I've always had this thing inside of me that wanted more attention no matter what. The self-confidence and the self-esteem was always pretty low. From the very first time I used meth, I lost my mind. I would go into this alternative psychosis universe. It looks like paranoia. It looks like schizophrenia. It looks like calling the cops on yourself when you're just sitting with some friends thinking they're going to kill you. Going to the hospital thinking the nurses and doctors are trying to kill you, only to have them drop me off the next day in the middle of the woods because that's the only place where I felt safe, was in total isolation.
I'm so hard-headed. I'm so defiant that if I didn't have the crutch, if I didn't have the drug addiction,
I'd never get to where I am. Fear is real difficult to overcome sometimes. And really what that was, I think, was if I'm not successful at getting this, at being the center of attention, then that feeling of rejection is the worst feeling in the world to me. Like, if I can't have a relationship with my daughter, then I don't want to be clean. I don't want to. Why am I doing all this if I can't have it?
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson.
Welcome to Powerful Beyond Measure, a podcast about radical transformation, gritty stories, and the undeniable power of second chances. I'm your host, Matt Culp, a man in long-term recovery who believes in the power of grace, grit, and growth. Each week, we sit down with real people who've overcome real struggles, from addiction to adversity, and came out on the other side. No fluff, no filters, just truth, healing, and hope. And the truth is, you are powerful beyond measure, and it is time you knew it. Episode today is with Brandon Bouldin. Usually what we do here is we kind of talk about, like, what's your name, where you from, where you grew up, what's your childhood like. After that, we'll usually just kind of talk. I'll have questions about your story, and then we'll talk about, like, just in general, like recovery or the industry, or just we'll kind of spitball for a while.
Sounds good. So I'm Brandon Bouldin. I'm from McMinnville, Tennessee. 39. I've got 4.5 years clean. Got clean in Murfreesboro this time. After treatment, moved to Threshold, stayed there for 2.5 years. Been clean before that, though. I was clean for 6.5 years. When I was 22, went to treatment and stayed clean for 6.5 years. Had a kid, did all of the good stuff, and stopped going to meetings and lost it all pretty quickly. Besides the normal stuff during in between the me getting clean and me relapsing and me getting clean again, I mean, it was real bad. It was real bad. But my childhood was pretty normal. It wasn't nothing. Didn't really want for much. I was in a semi-stable household environment from the outside looking in. It was kind of wild on the inside, though. Nothing. I really didn't want for material things, but I've always had this thing inside of me that wanted more attention no matter what. You know what I mean? And I still have that today. You know, I want everybody to notice me. It's gotten better with some work that I've done on myself, but growing up, that's that like desire to be the center of attention was always there, and you know, it was something that stuck with me for a long time, and you know, now I try to use that for good instead of bad. I'm an outgoing guy. Really want to, you know, I think if you can use your story for good and instead of, you know, for bad, it's
Why do you think the need for the center of attention? I mean, I have an idea, but just to kind of bounce it around a little bit.
just because I never felt good enough without getting attention. I never felt like there's the self-confidence and the self-esteem was always pretty low. So whenever other people were giving me attention, whether it was good or bad, I felt like that was better than sitting by myself.
Because it was a need not met, like in the house. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was a need not met in the house. But really, I mean, it was more of an internal thing. There wasn't, like, my childhood was not bad. It was not bad. My stepdad drank, and my mom and him fought and stuff like that. But there was not
Big T.
big T.
Yeah.
My real dad was never around, so maybe that had something to do with, like, I don't know, dissecting that up. You know, I think you could pull stuff out of it, but there was no like horrible stuff going on. You know what I mean? It wasn't an ideal environment. Wasn't, you know, picket fences and fucking flowers all the time, but it was not that bad. A lot of my big T happened because of my drug use. You know what I mean? Like it was, the situations that I put myself in because of that.
One of the things that I learned through going through treatment and being in recovery is like, I always thought like trauma was like this big thing. I seen somebody die. There was a car wreck, you know, like big T stuff. Like some of the big T stuff for me, like what I had to look at is like anything that changed the trajectory of my life. That's a hard word for me, but like my dad. This is very easy stuff, very simple. But he had told me one time we were in a gas station. I was like 8. He told me, I was like, "Can I have this gum? You know, can I have this gum? Can I have this gum?" You know, I was a kid. He was like, "You can't have it. You have to earn everything in life. If you want it, you have to go earn it and get money for it."
Yeah.
And that changed the trajectory of my life. That one comment. He didn't. I don't think he yelled at me. I don't think he treated me poorly. I don't think he probably said it. He either said it 1,000 times or never said it at all again. But it changed my life, you know. Another thing I realized later was, this is a little bit bigger T, but one time you had told me to gamble on this game, and I gambled on it. I won. And then later I was like watching this, somehow I was watching a college game, and Memphis was playing. They were up by like 10. And I
remember this.
And I bet on the Memphis game. And UConn came back, this white kid with a dang sweatband on. He came back and scored like 16, like right out the half. I mean, he was like on it. I was like, I've lost all my money, you know. But what I figured out then is I hadn't watched one single sports game since my grandfather had passed in 15 years, and it changed the trajectory of my life. Like it made me not be able to sit amongst guys in a room like you do probably, or did then, like, and watch games, or have friends over at my house and watch the Super Bowl. I mean, I do watch Super Bowl. We don't even watch it, you know, but, or be at work and like talk about sports, you know. I mean, I'll talk about them, but like, I don't know.
You're not into it.
I'm not into it, but I was prior to his death. So like, I didn't even understand that was going on. I just thought, why would I do sports when I can do other things and make money and be a part of my family? Like, why am I wasting my time with this stuff? So, you know, it's
big
weird.
lesson is don't listen to Brandon about gambling. You know what I mean?
I won a lot on that first.
No.
I think I won $1,000 on that.
I remember I was real nervous when you told me that you were taking my betting advice, and I was betting like $25 on the game, and you come in hard on me. I was like, oh no. I was like, Lord, please don't do that.
All right. So, pretty good childhood.
Pretty good childhood. Didn't really use or drink until my senior year of high school, and I just never wanted to. I never wanted to. I was never really in a situation to do that. I played sports in high school, wrestled and played football, and when I stopped doing that, I got into a relationship, and that kind of took precedent over sports. And when we broke up, I started hanging out with. I hung out with like this one girl I was in a relationship with pretty much all through high school. And whenever we broke up, I started hanging out with guy friends, and they were out partying. Then I started using. It really did not take long to escalate from there. I went from drinking, smoking weed to doing meth. There was no that was all in like a 2-month time frame, 2 or 3 month time frame. From the very first time I used meth, I lost my mind. Not like, hey, he's been up for too long, but like every time I used, I would go into this alternative psychosis universe. Sometimes it was bad, and sometimes it was real fucking bad. There were some fun times at first, I guess, but not really.
How were you when this was happening?
19, 20,
Okay.
21. But I was also doing I started doing meth, but then I was introduced to other drugs. I was coming from McMinnville to Murfreesboro, and hanging out with folks that are in college up here, getting, party drugs, I guess, some ecstasy and cocaine and stuff like that. And, that went on for a little bit, but it was never really, I was never somebody that could like just use and have a good time. I always I wouldn't fall asleep with anything in my pocket kind of the guy. I was going to use it all right then. Cause I wanted to be as high as I could be. Every time I got high, I didn't mess around. You know what I mean?
Me too. Not everybody's like that, but
not everybody's like that. Like, why don't you save some for tomorrow when you wake up? Because what if tomorrow never comes? We're gonna get wild tonight. But no, I don't want to like glamorize anything. It was all bad. It was pretty much always all bad. Just because I would get so messed up, and I would be just wild, and people didn't want to be around me. I was so wild. But I found people that were just like me, that were as wild as I was, and I gravitated towards that. And when you are one of those people and you put yourself around that environment, crazy stuff happens. You know what I mean? And then on top of it, when crazy stuff's going on, even crazier stuff's going on in my brain whenever I've been up for 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
6, 7
Stuff
days.
That's not
Stuff that's not real.
Yeah.
So that's not any fun.
I'm gonna, this is new for me, but like, I'm going to unbiasedly try, like, what does that mean? Like, cause I know what it means. But like,
what does not being the stuff not being real mean?
Yes. Like, how does that look? What is that?
It looks like paranoia. It looks like schizophrenia. It looks like being in a hospital and thinking it looks like calling the cops on yourself when you're just sitting with some friends thinking they're going to kill you. Going to the hospital thinking the nurses and doctors are trying to kill you. Jumping over the hospital counter in a hospital gown, and then thinking the only way out of here is to attack this doctor and end up going to jail that night. And then I faked, like, I was like, okay, I got to get out of here. So I faked like I was having a seizure in the jail cell, and they took me back to the hospital, and they were like, we're not taking this mother back. You know, we had just left there. And there's tons of stories like that. You know, there's tons of stories where I was just out of my mind, not being able to determine reality from crazy town. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's where I lived for a long time. Calling my mom, who I hadn't seen in months, to come get me from a not so great environment, because I think everybody's trying to kill me, only to have them drop me off the next day in the middle of the woods, because that's the only place where I felt safe, was in total isolation. You know, putting my family through stuff like that, and putting my loved ones through, for them to have to know. I mean, there was times when I'm like, all right, I'm pulling this off. Nobody knows what I'm doing. And then there's obviously, looking back on it now, everybody knew what was going on the whole time. I mean, I was in full blown psychosis for the majority of the few years before I got clean this time. And
Were you, I've met people like this, and, I've lost my mind. I lost it a few
I've heard
times.
stories.
Yeah, but I was in my faculties then, but I've lost it. Like, I didn't know what was real, I think twice. Like, and I still, like, ponder it,
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But I met a bunch of people. I've met people that happens a lot more to, and then I've met people that every time they do it, brings them back there, brings them back there, brings them back there, brings them back there. Like,
So
were you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I went to treatment, I had not used. I'd been drinking. And me and my wife were together. We weren't married, but we were together before I got clean, and we had decided that we were going to clean up our act. So because of my everywhere I went, I brought chaos. That's like I was talking about earlier. Nobody wanted to be around me because I was just wild. But everywhere I went, I brought chaos. And when I moved in with her, and we were just dating, it wasn't 2 months, and her kids had gotten taken away because I had warrants. The cops came, drugs were found in the house, kids got taken away. So we were like, okay, we got to do what we got to do to get these kids back. And I was like, sure, let's do that, because there's always, now I love my wife, and I loved my wife then, but there was always, like, I needed like somebody there with me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, we'll stop, doing a half gram of meth every 2 hours. We'll slow it down a little bit. That's okay with me. We can still drink. We can still do this. I can still do this and that. But it was always bad. It was always real bad. And I had warrants, and I went to jail, came back to her house that night. And I could stop for a short period of time. But once I picked back up, it was just like somebody slingshotted me right back into the crazy land, I think I didn't use for about it was about 6 months. And I had gotten drunk, and for me, the reason I go to the 12-step fellowship that I do, and I've heard you explain this the other way before, the reason that I go to the 12-step fellowship that I do is because I can drink whenever I was using, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, lightly, catch a little buzz, take a little nap. Thursday, drink a little bit more and get drunk. Friday, drink a little bit more and get drunk. And then I want to shoot meth, and then that's why it's the effect that alcohol has on me is it takes me to another level. Like I lose my inhibition. So I very quickly go to, I know where I want to be. And this will take me there, even though it's scary, it's a scary place, but that's where I was comfortable for so long. Is I want to be as out there as I can get, as far away from reality as I can be. But when I get there, a lot of times I'm like, oh, this is not where I want to be. This is not good. Running around in the woods, shooting at people that aren't there and crazy stuff. But yeah, so every time I used meth, it would snap me back. And that was the last time that I used meth, but it would snap me back into like, okay, now Brandon needs to go to treatment. Yeah, it was, and I think that's God. Some of that I think is God, like not for all the times that I was like at my bitter ends and wanting to stop using. And I'm like, I'll do anything if you can just make it to where I can stop. I want to stop. And I think that snap back into crazy land is it. Like there's no easing into, the consequences for me anymore. Every time that I used at the end, it would be instant consequences. It would be instant. And that's the only way I'm going to change is if I'm getting beat. And I think that was my God beating me into, or doing me the big favor of like, we're not going to play around. This is it, and really that's what I was praying for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday I think I was on the phone with Scott Corbett 2 days ago, and he was like, people aren't going to treatment as much right now, in general.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, I was explaining to him that when I got in this industry, I found out that people plan to go to treatment like after Christmas or after their wedding or whatever. Like sometimes like there's a plan like to go to treatment. They might not make it or whatever, but they're withholding like after Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's one of the times that they would withhold. Like
it never happened like that for me.
I've always been drug into treatment. Yeah.
There's no,
they tricked me. I've been furloughed. It's
you
never.
don't want to furlough me. Yeah, it's not. I don't want to. Yeah, if I ever go back out, God hope I don't. But this is just. I'm just letting everybody know. Don't give me a furlough because I'm gonna run. That was my thing. I don't. There's no plan in treatment for sure. It was always the consequences took me right where I needed to be. But yeah, I don't understand how people complain to go to treatment, and I get hundreds and hundreds of people into treatment a year, and still the overwhelming majority though is
they got to go today.
Yeah, it's fucking crunch time. It's critical situation, and I can deal with that.
Yeah, well, we're trying to like remove excuses and help them get into treatment. So if they're like, well, I'm going to wait till after. You're like, well, do you really want to,
Yeah. What are you waiting on?
What are you waiting on? Yeah. You have a few Christmas cards.
Yeah. You don't got no Christmas cards.
Yeah. They're going to give you gift cards.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's wild sometimes talking to folks, and just seeing, it's good. One thing that makes me good at my job is that you're telling me the stuff that I've already told people, and if I can put myself in their shoes, which is not hard to do because I've been there, and it's real easy to convince you that you're the only person you're fooling is yourself, and that's why I was saying earlier, if you got to use this stuff for good, and recovery to me is not just stopping using drugs. It's picking up a purpose and using your experience for something positive instead of something, negative.
Yeah.
I put bad in for so long that I will never be able to, in my eyes, I will never be able to pay back all the bad that I did with the good that I'm trying to do today. And that's why I love doing what I'm doing, is because I feel like there's a debt that I'm repaying back to society, I guess, or just to the universe. And that's where my drive comes from, to help folks, for sure.
Yeah, me too. I felt like I exclusively owed 12-step program and God for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I paid back the 12-step program. And I burned myself out for 8 years doing it. But, you know, I have a lifelong debt, but I really, dude, 8 years. I feel like I repaid it. You know? Yeah. Because it did save my life. And I don't think you can. I think, in step 3, I don't actually know how step 3 is in NA literature, but I would assume it's close to the same. But it's a change of position. Pretty much God is the employer and we are the employee. He's the director, we're the agent. He's, so it's more of I work for instead of he does what I need him to do. It's a different relationship. It's a change in relationship pretty much with God. Yeah. And that is a purpose, because if you think, well, he's my employer, then I do what he asks me to do, but I also show up in a manner at all times like that. I attempt to, I'm not perfect, but I attempt to show up like that all the time.
Yeah.
I guess you went to treatment the last time? Is that where we're
I went to treatment the last time. I didn't have anything. I didn't have, when I went to treatment, I had a black garbage bag. Which, around here, we're used to those black garbage bags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had a black garbage bag with some clothes in it. And I was pissed. I was like, here we are again, for the 9th time. In one form or another, we're going back to treatment. Sometimes it was a nice treatment center at first. And it progressed into homeless shelter type situations multiple times. And then there was, at the end, whenever I was beat into those consequences again, after a couple days of using, a couple days of running, everybody was like, you got to do something. We can't put up with you no more. And I didn't have anywhere to go, so I was homeless per se. And I like to think that I could have manipulated my way in somewhere again, but I knew I was to the point to where I was really going to have to put myself in a weird space to have a roof over my head, and that I was such a burden to everyone around me, and not the feeling oh, I'm a burden of self-pity, but I was literally have put my, it had gotten so bad that everybody around me was like, dude, we can't do this. This is crazy. I made a phone call. That day when I decided that this is what I got to do. I got to go to treatment. I didn't know where to go. Didn't know who to call. Had one phone number left in my phone that had all the phones that I had gotten while I was using, which is quite a few phones. If you've been in active addiction, them phones. Thank goodness that some of the contacts transferred, and I had one dude's number. And he's still a very important part of my life today. But I called him, and he's like, "You need to get to a meeting." I'm like, "Well, I need a lot of things, but I don't think I'm going to go to a meeting right now. How do I get into treatment?" And he gave me some phone numbers, and at least put me on the path of where I needed to go. I went there. It was a state funded treatment center that I'm super grateful for, and I've got the opportunity to go back and carry meetings into that place since I've been clean. And doing stuff like that is so important to me, because I walk in there and I see that, and I've got to go back to that place with you before, when we picked up a dude.
Yeah.
But I was there. Wasn't serious. I mean, I knew that I'd put myself in a bad spot, and I knew that people were fed up with me, and I knew that I needed to do something different. So I remember praying for just point me in the right direction. I got to figure out my life. I don't know really what I'm doing. I don't have any idea which direction to go. But I got to figure something out. I'm 35 years old. I've got to figure something out. And my grandmother had just died. My grandpa was still mourning. This was June. My grandmother died in May. My grandpa was I can't call on him anymore, and was my out usually.
Yeah.
And he had told me straight up. He's like, I can't do this right now, And that was the first time that they had told me hey, we can't deal with you. We're dealing with our own stuff. So I prayed while I was there, just guide me. It was something, but it wasn't oh Lord, please guide me. It was I have fucked up. I need some help,
Yeah.
And I think what I was praying for was willingness. And whenever I was there, I was open to starting over, and I knew Murfreesboro was the place where I was successful earlier in life at staying clean. So I was like, let's go to Murfreesboro. And I got lined up to go to
That other place.
the other place.
Yeah.
I got lined up to go to Josh's.
They actually, I think he had accepted funds for you, and then
Yeah, I had a grant, a $400 grant to get me into sober living, that I got from the treatment center I was in. And when I got out, I had to go to court. There was 2 days from when I got out of treatment. Jennifer picked me up. She was like, "You ain't staying." I tried to talk her into this. Hey, they throw us check $400. They could keep that check. You know what I mean? They sent it right to him. They could keep that check, whatever, tear it up. I don't care. But maybe I don't need to go. And she was like, "You can't stay here." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm going." So I went to court, got it put off, and then called Josh, and something didn't work out, and he called you, and I got into Threshold. And I remember showing up to Richardson, and I was like, "Fuck, here we go." You know what I mean? And starting over, and Big Tony was there on the couch.
Who else was there?
Tony was there. That kid with tattoos on his face.
Oh, Justice
Was there. I don't remember who
Tony?
else. Tony.
The other
was there.
Tony?
The other Tony was, another Tony was there. And then the house manager was, why can't I think of his name?
It wasn't Tony?
Redheaded. He's been with us numerous times.
Tyler?
No. We both know it. I don't know why I can't think of it. Gallatin.
Zach.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
And Zach was the house manager.
Okay.
Yeah. So walk in. I know Tony. He's from McMinnville. I worked with him. I was like, okay, maybe this is gonna be all right. And then he sat me down. I was like, listen, I know you, and I know your type, and we don't do that shit here. I'm like, whoa, ease up now. I was like, okay. And this dude is
6'5".
6'5", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm not, okay, we're going to do right. It's going to be okay. And I remember being like, okay, I'm in Murfreesboro. I got to find a job. Of course, that's everybody. when you come to sober living, the first thing you think about is I got to find a job, and that can be good or that can be bad. Yeah, I like it. For Matt, it's good. For
the person, it's
for
not.
the person, it's not so
Yeah.
good. And I remember being in like I was like I knew that I needed to go to a meeting, and so I started going to meetings, and I knew people in the 12-step fellowship that I attend here in Murfreesboro. The dude that I called on that phone call to get in treatment, he
Was it Terry?
no, it was Craig.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew figured it was one of
Yeah.
them.
So it was Craig, and we went, and I went to a meeting, and they started picking me. I had people picking me up, going to meetings, and but that second day I was there, the first full day I was there, you walked into the kitchen, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Brandon," and we had a talk that day that changed the trajectory of my life. Then it went a little something like this. Hey, I think you were sent here to help Threshold or something. I don't even know how it went, but it was awesome, and it was I don't know, it was weird too because it all came true.
It was a weird.
It was a
Meeting, yeah.
weird meeting.
Sometimes you just know. You know, I didn't know about Dom, but Nick, I
Yeah.
knew, and I think I knew. Like some people you just know.
Literally my first day.
Pedigo, I knew something.
Petticoat would look like a wharf rat when he came in there.
I just knew that he was like me, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're different, but like, I don't know. Something about when I met him. It was I mean, like Rue wasn't like that, but I knew that he was going to he immediately fit in the fold.
Yeah.
JT, I was very confused by JT at first.
I think what you did, and I assume that you still do it, even though it's everything's scaled a lot since that conversation for sure. I think you had 4 houses then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if Zach was at,
Zach was at Richardson.
what was
Middle Tennessee was not open yet because he left Richardson to go to Middle Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah. I think 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but you spent time with me, like you would come pick me up, and I tried later on down the road. I tried to do that to other people in my own way. I didn't have a vehicle for like 2 years. Whenever I was living at Threshold, I was the executive director at Threshold with no car. You know what I mean?
JT was getting you around.
JT was giving me rides, but that's where, and I think it was like I'm real, like when I talk about stuff like this and I look back on things, I really think that like things happen just like they were supposed to. If I'd have had a car, I'd probably been running hose. You know what I mean? I probably would have been out, not doing what I was supposed to be doing, and because I had to depend on other people, I wasn't able to just go out and do crazy stuff. Gage gave me a ride to work every morning.
Yeah.
We worked together. Shout out Gage, but we still work together. We ain't gonna get that's jumping ahead.
I wonder if there's correlation between. I know there's. Okay. Nick, he had a car when he came. A month in, he sold his car not because he needed the money, because he knew.
Yeah, cars are bad.
Yeah, he walked. And
how many people are successful that have cars first day?
Not very well. I didn't. Me and Trey Searles.
Yeah.
I mean, I got other rides and stuff, but I didn't have a car for you.
And it humbles you a little bit too. I think it makes you like. I'm okay with asking somebody to take me to a meeting, and if you're going to get something to eat, I'm okay with, hey, can I ride with you and grab something too? But you don't want to ask somebody like, hey, can I go do this and that? Now I want to go do this, and it puts you. it makes it to where you're
isolated in your decisions and where you're going. Yeah.
because you don't want to be a
Burden.
I don't want to become a burden again. Clean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which I always had. I'm sure that you and Gage. I mean, I'm sure it was like this, but like, I never felt like we just hung out. Like
we just hung out. We're just chilling.
Yeah, me and Trey, and then me and like the people that were picking me up, and like
and JT and me, and had to go with me, and we were just hanging out, like you said. You know, we trying to live our lives, trying to figure out what the hell we was doing, and me and Gage lived at Richardson together. I was a house manager there first, and I met Gage at a NA cookout, and he had just got kicked out of To the Pill, and I was like, "You need to call Matt," and he moved into Allen, and then I was like, "I can probably get you a job too, because you had turned me on to OTP, and we got there. We were making like $78 a day." And I'm pretty sure that like 68 of that went to you for rent. So we had like very little money to go mess around on, which I also think is a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we had every morning, Gage would turn the oven on, come and wake me up. We would throw like frozen biscuits that we bought together into the oven and a piece of like frozen chicken. And we'd have chicken biscuits on the way to work after he tried to wake me up like 3 times. And then we'd work. And then on Fridays, we would go to Starbucks and get like a frappe, and we thought we were hot shit. You know what I mean? Because we had enough money to get a frappe. But, but some of those friendships that I made in those early days at Threshold, I don't talk to some of them as much anymore, but like, we're still tight, engaged. I see him and talk to him every day. We've gone on trips together. We just got back from Las Vegas this past weekend.
Yeah.
Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Just on a whim, decided to go watch UFC fights in Las Vegas, and
chose the main card and all that.
Main card and all of it. Yeah, it was awesome.
Were they expensive?
We got a good deal on them.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you what is expensive is going to Las Vegas, though, just in general. The fights were the cheapest thing I did.
The rooms are expensive.
The rooms weren't that bad either, but just me, the disease of addiction manifests itself in other areas of your life. And as Matt said earlier when we started, gambling is one of them, And I don't gamble a lot anymore, but when I do, especially when you're in Las Vegas, I feel like it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to lose a lot of money, And that's what happened.
Or win. I mean,
win. I was up $900 the first 2 days and lost it all on the third day.
So you lost more than 9?
I lost the 9.
Oh.
I was up. Well,
So did you lose?
I felt like I lost for sure.
Did you lose money that you brought?
Yes.
Okay.
I lost more than the 9.
Okay, got you. Okay.
My wife doesn't know that, but I guess she will now. Hey.
Surprise.
Yeah. But no, I had a budget and I stayed.
Okay.
I stayed there. I was like, okay, I'm cool with losing this $500. And
that's an okay budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually, when I gamble, and I'm tight, I mean, I don't really like gambling. I mean, usually I'm around $200 to $500. It's like this is what I'm willing to lose.
It's not the losing that hurts you; it's the winning. I learned that
when you win.
There's a little feeling goes on inside of your body. I think it's the same receptors that
it is.
Yeah.
They, on 2 for the Money, is that this? Al Pacino, Matthew McConaughey.
Something.
He goes to Gambling Anonymous meeting. He goes like AA meetings every day. Al Pacino, he's a bad gambling addict, but he hasn't gambled in like 30 years. But he goes in there and just like destroys the meeting every day. He's just like, whatever he does. It's a weird thing. But he says something that's actually really resonated with me. And he pretty much states, not verbatim, but he states that it's not the winning. It's when everything's on the line. I'm going to lose it all. The house, everything.
Yeah.
that's when I feel it the most. Right after I've lost everything. And like,
I'm too scared of my wife to get there.
yeah, that's a gambling.
That's plus some, yeah.
Yeah, but I've been there with shooting drugs.
Yeah. No, drugs, I've been there for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't like the copping. It wasn't getting it. I would be so nervous, like driving home to the house, because it's just, I know that I'm about to feel this feeling, you know, and then it's not the feeling of, it's like right after that I might like lose it, that I might die or whatever. Yeah. Which I'm like you, I don't withhold drugs to the next day.
No.
I buy as much as humanly possible.
And I know that about myself. So I know, like, if I'm going to Las Vegas, I need to have a budget and I need to stick to it. And am I powerful enough to do that on my own? Probably not. But
I mean, what if you'd have walked in there and won
if I'd have walked in there and
30 grand?
30 grand, I would have.
You should have called somebody.
I should have called somebody because I'd have been.
Get on.
They have these self-driving.
Get on
cabs.
a flight right now.
Yeah, I need to get going. But they have these self-driving cabs out there now. I've probably been off in one of those. Yeah, $200 rides. Yeah. No, if I'd have won 30 grand, I'd have probably left. I would think I would left or went to. I don't know what I would have done because it didn't happen, and I don't think I'm allowed to win that much money because I think it would get me, like $400. I did win $1,200 in college football this year, but it was, and I paid some credit card bills off with it. So I'm more financially responsible than I ever have been in my life. But yeah, so
That's okay.
we got off of Las Vegas for a second. But yeah, Gage and I, we when I left, I was at Threshold for 2.5 years. The director for a year and a half, I guess. I don't know.
You were kind of the director prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, before.
I was working to the pill at night, and then that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like I was a crazy person. I was doing daytime director stuff and to the pill at night, and yeah, that wasn't good. That didn't last long, and then I left to the pill and just went full time for you, and felt like we like grew a lot right in that little space.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah. We grew from
4 to 9 pretty quick.
4 to 9. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which some of that was toxic.
yeah,
It was a weird situation.
it was.
Because I remember me and you being at Stetson and you advocating for more money, I remember, I think. And I was just like, I don't know if I thought that it was.
Hey, it's a good thing I'm not here no more because you've done opened up 19 houses or some shit.
You'd want $100 grand.
I want $100 grand per house. So much money per house that I was director of.
It's actually not a bad. Well, I think that's what we did is per house.
It was per house.
Yeah, but I was like, at that moment, I was like, well, I'll give you the money, but we're gonna grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way it's gonna work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Which then,
that taught me a very valuable lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah. How to advocate
for what you need,
for what I needed.
it sucks.
Regardless if
Right.
it's okay for you. I don't.
It's okay.
It's all right. But it did teach me how to advocate for what I needed, and that I have value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's carried on into my professional life.
I think the reason in which, you know, sober living doesn't make as much as everybody thinks, and then
It doesn't.
Yeah, and
I mean, they see you with 19 houses. I mean, and it.
yeah,
You can do the math. You know what I
you're
mean?
Like this person,
But if you do the math for real, There's also 19 electric bills and water bills and insurance payments.
You couldn't imagine.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, it's a lot.
You you know, I talked to. I make the same amount of money that I made at 9 that I make at double.
I'm sure.
But I have more infrastructure, more help. The program itself is stronger, like infrastructure wise.
Yeah.
Because it was just me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was still like, me and Matt Pecker just rode around with me. I was still fixing drawers, still, you know, I was bogged down with like a lot of that stuff, you know.
Going into homes and looking at dressers that are being sold. I really want that dresser.
The dresser is
Hauling off washing and dryers. And,
yeah. So I like, you know, a lot of that stuff's been eliminated from my life, but the money's still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which I'm okay with. I accepted a long time ago that I want to pay myself a salary, and that's my salary, and whatever happens beyond that is not on me.
Getting to help a lot more people.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had the thing happen with Clark and Highland when
Here and
like where the new lease had happened or whatever, and I was
with the old guy.
yeah. That's another thing that happened. It kind of it turned me into I gotta like expand to fix this problem, you know.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
I
felt very confident that you could handle the workload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could handle 19.
Sure. I think you can still.
Nothing.
You know? I don't think that I think that you could handle it better now. I think it made you unhealthy in the way that you thought you had to perform or show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you could do it now a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But back then you went into manager mode and like you, which was good for me. I didn't have to do much, but you just ruled with an iron fist, and it kind of creeped into your emotional self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you were like, just kind of aggressive, you know.
I was aggressive, and that don't work outside of this setting.
It doesn't always work in this setting.
It doesn't always work in this setting either, because
it does work for some people.
For some people,
yes.
I mean, but there's also been situations that where I was like, oh, it's about to go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in a real, not only in a real professional setting per se, that I'm not saying this, you know, that job wasn't a real professional setting. It was, but there was also, like you said, there was a lot of emotional. Like, I felt like my job was to protect Threshold at all costs. You know what I mean? And what Threshold stood for at all costs.
It was.
And
I mean, but I don't know if that's 100%.
If that means putting somebody that's high out on the street, and I was willing to do it. But my views and my outlook on things have changed a lot since then too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't have much compassion then.
And empathy, yeah.
Yeah, I did not.
Which I think there is like a balance. Like
you can't have too much.
We have to protect Threshold, but we also have to have empathy and compassion. And
like then I thought no one person is more important than all these people and all the people yet to come. But really, that one person is pretty important, you know?
It's a hard line.
It's a real hard line, and it's a hard thing to do. And I don't know that on this scale, if that way would work as much.
It would work better. You really need that at this point. But I think you would need maybe a dual role or like a secondary situation in which you do need a sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, is what you do. But what we have noticed is like we put a lot of situations in which we trusted house managers because they were around us, and we trusted them to just be moral and do their recovery and make the call to you. Where now it's more their responsibility, their house, like instead of just, hey, just call me out. Yeah, I'll come kick him out or whatever. Yeah. No, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm scared. Well, yeah. It's going to have to happen,
Yeah, it's got to happen.
I mean, he literally is using fentanyl. Help him get him in treatment.
And I think that's what's changed. Is fentanyl.
Yeah,
it's changed a lot of it.
Scary.
It's changed a lot of my outlook on things. Working in treatment, seeing people. Not only that I get into treatment, but people that I care about and love die. People that have been here at Threshold die. Like it's not meth, you know what I mean? It's not, hey, Brandon's going crazy. It's like these dudes have died, and what are we gonna do to make sure they don't, And that's like where my focus has gone. When we lost Soup, things changed for me because I had gotten him. He was here, and
he was doing like really great.
He was doing great. I don't believe in coincidence. So whenever I got a phone call, and I was sitting a mile from where we're sitting now, over on Medical Center, and he had put me down as his emergency contact at his job. Whenever I was the director here, I was already working at Brooks by this time, and he had overdosed, and he was at the hospital. So I was literally a half mile from the hospital, and I had a good relationship with the navigator in the hospital. So I just like drove to the hospital and was able to sit there with him and get him into Brooks, and he stayed there for 60 days and got him back into Threshold, and he was doing great. You use one fentanyl one time, you can die for sure. So that's what happened to him. And having to talk to his mom, and like, because I was still the emergency contact on his job, his mom caught his job, and I was in Phoenix touring a facility with Will and Scott, and last December, about a year ago, and that's when all that happened. I think it was about a year ago right now.
It was cold.
Yeah, it was cold. And just talking to his mom and hearing the pain in her voice, something inside of me was like, you got to do something. You got to, like, your mission has to be different than what it has been, because now it's, even though people were already, dying at an alarming rate, over the past 2 or 3 years, when it gets close to home, it's like, whoa, he was such a good dude that I felt real felt like that was like the whole sequence of events that happened really. I'm not saying he died where I could have a mission, but he, because he died, I have made it my mission to help as many people as I can. That's why I've gotten involved with some nonprofits outside of like I can get you into treatment. You know what I mean? I can get me or a member of my team could get you into Brooks. I can get you into tons of different treatment centers that I work with. I can get you into Threshold. I can get you into Hope. I can get you wherever you want to go. But what are we doing before that point comes? Because there's not every drug addict has willingness. How do we meet them where they're at? And so I've gotten involved with Chase Away Fentanyl, and we started the Warren County Prevention and Intervention Coalition, and Narcan distribution, and education, and just harm. Alan don't like to be called harm reduction. It's what's he call it? It's death reduction is what he calls it. So it's where I focus all my free time. Yeah, and super important to me. It's literally people dying every hour because of fentanyl poison, and we got to do something about it. The president made it a weapon of mass destruction yesterday. I don't know if you've seen that or not. Signed an executive order.
Really?
Yeah, weapon of mass destruction. Fentanyl. Which I don't know what that means. I think a lot of that's showboating, but in one way or another. But maybe it'll make a difference in some way.
I think that what's crazy is about drug addiction is the after he passed, the people that were there with him after they moved out together, or whatever, they're still using. I don't know what they got going on, but I know that they're not clean.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to think about. You're sitting in a room and your roommate, somebody you love and care about, passed away in the next room,
and you find them,
and you still use the next day.
Yeah,
it's
I
mean, I understand it, like, as a drug addict.
You understand it, and I understand it, but it's hard to explain to somebody else. And the way I do try to explain it is, do you think that depression is real?
Yeah.
Do you think bipolar disorder is real?
Yes.
Yes. Check. Do you think that schizophrenia is real?
Yes.
Addiction is no different. It's a mental health disorder. It's that's medically, that's how I can explain it. I need something to make me feel different than what I feel right now because I don't feel good, and it's something chemically wrong with us in our brain that wants something. You know what I mean? Whether it's drugs or food or sex or that feeling when you win $30,000 and are riding around in the damn cab with no driver. You know what I mean? I need that, and I need it now, and I need it regardless of the consequences. And that's what addiction is. And it's not a choice. Nobody chooses to become a drug addict. Nobody chooses to, and I've gotten to this debate sometimes, like, well, the first time's a choice. The first time is a choice, I guess. I mean, the first time, but you never know when you try, when you smoke pot for the first time when you're a teenager, you don't think, well, this is going to kill me. You know what I mean? Or it's going to take everything that I love. And it, so that's how I explain addiction, though, and that's how I feel like if somebody explained it to me that way, I could understand it. Like, if depression's real and you can't see it physically on somebody, if schizophrenia is real, I mean, you can kind of see it on some folks, and bipolar disorder, and all these other mental health disorders, ADHD, ADD, then addiction falls right in line with those, and then it goes deeper too. It's a spiritual,
deficiency.
Spiritual deficiency. I mean, it attacks different areas of your life, mind, body, and spirit, and it. But to somebody that don't have it, it's real hard to understand.
Explain, I think for me, we've talked about power of choice, but the best analogy I've ever came up with is that you don't have power of choice in the same way you can breathe. Like, I can breathe in, like, I can breathe out. Like, I have power of choice. Like, I picked it up. I could right now drive to the gas station, have power. Like, I could choose to go to the gas station and get a tall boy, strawberryta probably, but I don't have choice in whether I breathe or not. There's two options. I could have you choke me out and not breathe, or I can breathe. That's it. Like, I can't not stop breathing.
Yeah.
And for us, like, I think we get confused on like, okay, I walked in the gas station today and I chose not to do it. Sure, you made that choice. I made the choice to hold my breath for 5 seconds. But I don't have the choice in whether I involuntarily breathe or not. And I think that we're in a space of like spiritual deficiency at birth. I think that we are seeking something to feel different.
Yeah.
And until we catch that breath, we don't feel right. And then when we do, it's the only thing that feels right until we have the spiritual void filled. You know, and I have a weird thought process to think that, I don't know if it's kind of weird, but I feel that we would have never found a higher power without it. It is our route to
I'm
the higher
certain of it.
power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so hard-headed, I'm so defiant that if I didn't have the crutch, if I didn't have the drug addiction,
I'd have never got to where I am.
I would have
On
never.
my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Because I tried to, you know, I mean, that was something that I tried, you know. I was raised up in church, and it would have been easy for me to
Just go that
still
route.
be sitting in the same spot in the pew that I was sitting in when I was 16 or 15 years old, you know. But something was missing, you know, and I didn't know what it was until I got high for the first time, you know. And
we had talked, remember early on, I think we were sitting outside of Middle Tennessee, but pretty much the gist of it was power of choice conversation. And, you know, you had said something along the lines that this person had chose to drink or use, and we, you know, they had to leave or whatever. And I was like, I don't believe that. You know, I really, everything I've read, watched, and understood about addiction is people lack power of choice. It's not their fault, you know. And people do it all the time. Even people 20 years in recovery.
yeah,
They, you know, you sit in a meeting and somebody relapses and they're 90 days in and they go, he should have called his sponsor. If he would have did this, if he would have did that, if he would have went to the home group, he would have. And those things are true. Those things do point you in a spiritual relief. Like, there's fingers pointing you into the solution, yes. But he doesn't have a choice in whether I have like empathy for the situation because I understand the situation, because they don't have a choice in whether they use or not. They have a choice in whether they accept spiritual help or not. But we have to be so beat and broken before that happens.
it's not easy to do, and it's easy to get in recovery. It's easy to get distracted
Yes.
by all the stuff that,
The job, the
because
girl,
if you
the
like, it's amazing how you can start with so little and gain so much so fast. Not even materialistically, but it's like people want to be around you. You get your driver's license back. You know, you get a job, and you get a relationship, and you get all this stuff. And where does recovery fit in to that puzzle? You know,
yeah.
and I'm not saying that my way's the only way, but it's definitely what's worked for me, you know, that I all, like, regardless of how much money I make and regardless of the title I have at my job or what I do for a living and what nonprofits or whatever I'm on the board of and what my purpose is that if I'm not taking care of myself in one form or another, and it doesn't have to be the way that I do it, but if I'm not plugged in and doing what I've got to do for me and making sure that I'm okay, then all that stuff, I have evidence in my life from being clean before and relapsing that if I stop, chances are the shit's going to happen again. And I don't want that to happen.
I was going to ask you earlier, the 6 years you had, if you could go back and tell yourself one thing in that 6 years from now to then, what would it be? One thing. Once
Don't fuck up, boy. No, it's it's you better take care of yourself. If I could have, I would not trade the life that I have right now for anything in the world. There are things that I lost because of that relapse that I have not been able to get back. And those happen to be very, very, very important things. And I regret that I haven't been able to. I regret that I like to go back in time and tell myself anything. I feel like would be changing the course of like how everything has ended up, and I don't really want to. Like, yeah, I would have told myself everything's going to be okay. You gotta get, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that. But I had a daughter. We might as well do it. I had a daughter that was born during that time. She was born when I had like 2 years clean. When I was clean before, it had 2 or 3 years clean. I was 25 when she was born. And I lost the relationship with her after I relapsed. Like, I was involved in her life for the first 8 or 9 years of her life pretty closely. Her mother and I both were in recovery. We both relapsed. She got clean again before I did, and then I kind of fell off the face of the earth towards the end of my using before I got clean this time, and just abandoned her totally. And I remember I mean, that's the hardest thing that I deal with on a daily basis. I got the opportunity Thanksgiving weekend to share on relationships in recovery. Me and my wife did, and it was not about mine and my wife's relationship at all. It was about the relationships that I have that are important to me, and the relationships that I lost is where it went. And that was it stands out this time of year too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like around the holidays, around birthdays, around all that, it really it's more difficult for me to process the fact that I lost the relationship with my daughter. She's a teenager now, and I've made attempts to reach out, but it's still it's a battle that I fight a lot. Whether or not I should insert myself, I mean, I can make some shit happen. You know what I mean? Like, I could physically insert myself into her life
Forcefully.
And is that the right thing to do to a teenage girl? How will that be welcomed? Is it, and that's a tough thing for me to deal with.
Yeah.
She lives in Georgia. I could go hire an attorney in Georgia and forcefully insert myself. I've tried to reach out to her mom a couple hundred times. And it's tough. It's a tough thing to do. There's more I could do.
Any response?
No response. No response. And people have suggestions, and people came up to me after I shared about it at the convention, and everybody's got, and I don't talk about it a lot either, because it's painful, and everybody's got their, experience, and that's valuable to me. That's super valuable. And but fear is real difficult to overcome sometimes. And that fear of me, not that same feeling that I had when I was a kid of wanting that attention. And really what that was, I think, was if I don't get it, if I'm not successful at getting this, at being the center of attention, then that feeling of rejection is the worst feeling in the world to me. And I'm, even as a 39-year-old man, that feeling of rejection from my kid would be, it's a scary thing, you know? It's a scary thing. But what's crazy is it would be the same thing as it's happening right now because I don't have a relationship with her. So it's a weird thing, man. And it's a very difficult, and like, I don't know sometimes if it's one of those things that I have made into such a big complex situation into my head that people on the outside are like, you should just do this and then everything will be all right. But I'm not that type of person. I'm the type that's got to go through all this stuff to get to that point.
Yeah.
Just like I did with addiction, you know? I don't know. It's tough, man. It's real tough. I used to think though that it used to be a big reservation. Like if I can't have a relationship with my daughter, then I don't want to be clean. I don't want to, why am I doing all this if I can't have it? And I said that to you, and you told me that regardless of what you have or you don't have, or if that relationship you have, you've got to do I forgot exactly what it was, but we were at Middle Tennessee and it stuck with me. It's like you have to put yourself in a position to be ready to, when that does come,
Yeah.
to be the man and the father that you've got to be.
And maybe that's happening, you know?
And maybe that's happening. And that's what I hang on to too, is
It looks
maybe
like,
that is happening.
It looks like it's happening.
Yeah. And I think it might be.
I mean,
but
you're married. You
I'm
have
married.
A house.
I've got a stable life.
You've had employment for 4 years.
Yeah.
You have a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're stable.
Stable. So maybe it is happening and I don't know it, you know? But I focus on the day-to-day. I try to focus on what's right in front of me, and that's worked for me thus far. If I get way far out there on a mission that is, it'll take me away from what I'm doing, I feel like. And if I just build my life day by day, things are going to progressively keep getting better. And I believe that 100% because it's happened to me so far. And I've seen it happen in other people's lives. It's not to say that hard things are going to pop up and you're going to stumble, but there's not been anything in the past 4.5 years that has made me fall flat on my face, because I've been able to deal with death. I've been able to deal with grief. I've been able to deal with arguments with my wife. I've been able to deal with, people in the workplace. I've been able to deal with crazy situations without losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And things are getting better. And I feel like if things have gotten this good in 4.5 years, who's to say why? I don't have any reason to believe it's not going to continue that way as long as I don't get high, you know? Yeah. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think I am,
You're not.
Yeah, I don't think I am. So just knowing how to deal with situations and especially not being able to have a relationship with my daughter right now, it's the most valuable thing that I have gained is the awareness and the ability to lean on other people and trust people enough to let them guide me. And people do it without even knowing sometimes. Like that conversation we had, man. Like I've hung on to that for a long time because if up until that point I was like, if I can't have this, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. There's no need of me even trying if this is going to be the outcome, you know? I don't know if it's the outcome or not, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The on the podcast, the podcast is named Powerful Beyond Measure, and it's based on a poem called Our Deepest Fear. I don't know if you've ever heard it or whatever.
I don't know.
But every guest we ask, what is your deepest fear? And you have time to think about it. And then when you answer, you'll answer like, my deepest fear is ...
No.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do that right now.
Yeah. You can think about it and then you have time.
No, my deepest fear is losing myself, and I have such a fear of not maintaining what I have gained so far, that is my driving force to continue to be active in the recovery community and do the things that I've got to do to take care of myself, because I feel like that's what all this stuff's built on. You know what I mean? That's what my ability to help people is built on. If I stop taking care of myself, then I could lose all this. And how many lives have been impacted because you indirectly were doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and then I'm able to do it. And I'm sure there's people that I've helped that are doing it, and so on and so forth. And somebody helped your ass, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like we have an obligation. It's that gate, standing at that gate. If something else, like there's a lot of little things that you've told me along the way. Like you can explain it better than I can.
Standing by the door.
Standing by the door, letting folks in. It's one foot in, 1 foot out, bro.
I almost named the podcast that.
It was good. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Like, and with these conversations you have with Matt with freaking 6 months clean, you're like, oh look, man, I'm at the door. But that's my biggest fear though, is I don't want to ever go back. You know, I've been back, and I don't ever want to go back, because if it's, I don't think that I could bounce back again. I don't think my ego would allow me to reach back out for help. But it might. I don't know. I might be able to call that person again and start over again. But what if I'm not? You know.
Let's not try.
Let's not try. Yeah, it's not something it's not something I'm trying to do. There's a lot of good stuff though, man. But knock the sign over, dude. A lot of cool stuff to come too. I do know. There's big things. Like I said, there's if 4.5 years, all this cool shit's happened. Even cooler stuff's to come, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got a family, and I've got a career, and I've got, recovery family. And, it's the most important stuff to me. And I don't want to lose any of it.